Hi everyone, welcome to the 128th All Classes Reunion. I'm Jeff Dirk, the Dean of the Case School of Engineering, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about what really gets me excited about what's going on in the school. Last year's students were record-setting not just in numbers, but in SAT scores as well. This year's freshman class continued that trend, representing yet another increase in average SAT scores. This is the measure we use to look at the quality of our incoming students. 80% of our students this year are from the top 10% of their class. The university had approximately 66 valedictorians coming to the university as first-year students. 60% of those, or 40, are here in the Case School of Engineering. The other thing that represents, and I tell the students this, is welcome to the new average. That when all 80% of your students are from the top 10% of their high school graduating class, that represents a unique cohort of really gifted students that allows us to create a curriculum that's going to stretch them and challenge them. This year, approximately 40% of those students who indicated a preference for the School of Engineering were women. 33% was actually our enrollment rate, and we're very proud of that and continue to try to push that higher. We also have about 10% students international. About 12% of our students represent students from an underrepresented minority population. If we are going to seek diverse solutions to the world problem, it's important that we have a diverse perspective as we pursue design and engineering. So ThinkBox is a really cool opportunity for the Case School of Engineering. Currently, it represents about a 3,000 square foot physical space where we put all of the tools that students would need to take those ideas in their heads and get them in their hands. One of the challenges we face is the fact that many students today never had wood shop or metal shop when they were in high school. And as all of you know, it's almost impossible for us to take apart a product today and see any engineering aspect of it. There's no tubes or moving parts. And so it's important for us to give students the opportunity to take those ideas in their heads and get them in their hands. The Case Rocketry Club is one example of us giving students the opportunity to gain real-world aeronautic experiences. Just like with many other opportunities, it's not a single discipline. It requires electronics, chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, aeronautic engineering, and students in the club have the opportunity to work together to gain some initial experience in taking a launch vehicle out, up, in through the atmosphere. So a couple of displays you'll see here tonight are things like Engineers Without Borders. This is an opportunity for students to identify a critical problem in some part of the world and bring all of their interdisciplinary talents to bear to provide a local solutions. This allows students to not only bring their skills to bear, but understand the constraints that a local economy or region places on the problem, and really bring real-world opportunities to our emerging students. This is, again, part of what I think differentiates our students from those of others. Real-world experiences, real-world constraints, solving real-world problems. These are some of the exciting trends that I see here in the School of Engineering. I'm excited to be the Dean. I'm thrilled to represent you when I'm out on the road. Many of you I've had the opportunity to meet over the course of the year. So have a great evening tonight. Make sure you have an opportunity to go around and see the different exhibits and spend some time with the students here who are representing the School of Engineering and all that we're striving for here at Case. Thanks a lot.
The Gavilber Award is named after Sam Gavilber, who created the phrase, the world's greatest fellowship. Phil DeSantis came to Case Institute of Technology to become a civil engineer, stayed on to get his master's in mechanical engineering and a doctorate. Not only did he come away with a great education, but he jumped the fence down the middle of campus and found the love of his life, Teresa Matusek. Phil is through and through an engineer, to the point where he taught engineering at Case, was a guest lecturer at Cleveland State in their continuing education program for engineering, and even forming his own company to be a consultant in computer engineering and computer science.
Both of our children graduated from Case. Michael graduated from the Weatherhead School, and Kathy graduated from the Mechanical Engineering Department. Kathy has gone on and got her PhD. I do have hopes of next year being able to actually drive to the reunion. Right now, Terry and I are a team. She's doing all of the driving. I bought a new car a year and a half ago, and she immediately has taken it over. So my new car is actually her new car. I'm honored to receive this award.
I was first introduced to Case Alumni Association about 5 or 6 years ago. I was between jobs at the time, and I have a lot of experience doing IT consulting and computer administration work. And I actually heard that they were looking for a new IT administrator in their office. So I applied for the position, and actually went to the office and I met with Paul Steffen and I interviewed with Tom Conlon. And they all liked me there, so I got the position. Well, as an employee of the Case Alumni Association for several years, I was able to see kind of the administration and behind-the-scenes aspect of running a nonprofit organization and all the significant roles that council members have to the organization and to students here at Case. And I decided to go ahead and be part of council to help them, become a better influence to current students. Being on council is going to help me with my career. Some of the choices I make and watching the operations of a business and seeing how the council interacts with the Alumni Association on a day-to-day basis. One of the things I helped set up as the IT administrator for the council meetings was using Cisco's WebEx program. And WebEx enables people from far away, we've got some people from Maryland, some people from the West Coast, to join in the meeting. They can see and hear everything that's going on. So we're trying to reach out to alumni all around the world. I'd like to encourage alumni of all ages to stay involved, especially the younger alumni. Being connected with the Case Alumni Association, you have professional connections and possible career mentors. So if you're looking for a new job or need to relocate to a different part of the country, you have connections there to help you settle into your new location. When I'm not doing IT consulting, I really enjoy spending time outside. Sailing, camping, hiking, bicycling, kayaking. Anything that's outside, I really enjoy doing it.
I never saw myself as working up to being president. Reunion is one of my favorite times of the year, and that's because being back on campus and to see all the people and renew acquaintances that had graduated with me, and also the classes on either side. It's wonderful to be on the scholarship committee and to interview such bright, intelligent, good-looking people. And it's a reinforcement that the world is not as bad as we hear in the media. I would like to specifically thank Ann for putting up with me and all the times that I had to leave and attend meetings and go to different functions and so forth. She has been very active on the board at Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing. And so she did have some thoughts of how important it was for me to be able to do this, and was very supportive. I pass on a word to Ed McHenry, the new president of the Case Alumni Association. I certainly hope that his tenure is a lot less stressful than mine was.
So I joined Case Western Reserve University just over 11 years ago, and just about 4 years ago I became the chairman of Macromolecular Science and Engineering. I had the good fortune in the last 10 years that I was in industry working with universities. So I pretty much every week got on an airplane and went to some school or another that we're working with. So I got a chance to sample teaching styles and mentoring styles a little bit. That was really fortunate. And it was like 10 years of pre-training before I came here. Your graduate students are your academic children, and you live with them and work with them for 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit more. And you get to see them when they come in and they're gangly and they don't quite know what to do. And over these years, they get molded and they become great scientists and engineers. And then they go out and you get to see them then out practicing in the field, and they become these amazing captains of industry. And you say, good, I participated there. It's very much like growing your own children. We've had the good fortune of working with the Case Alumni Association in a number of different areas. The Alumni Association has programs to welcome the incoming students. They have awards programs, they have scholarship programs, and they'll come to us and they'll say, we want to do this, would you participate? And the answer is, of course, because these are great things that are being done. So this is our department's 50th birthday, and the Case Alumni Association has taken a leadership role in celebrations honoring us. They threw a big party for us in New Orleans at the American Chemical Society meeting, and that wouldn't have happened without the association. Mentoring is important to me because that's a big piece of what we do. I mean, we are in the student business. The students who graduate from Case Western Reserve are our product. And how do we help develop these students? We help them develop by teaching in the classroom and by teaching out of the classroom. And the mentoring is really the teaching out of the classroom. That's the graduate students. The classroom is a very small portion of it. We are molding these people and turning them into practicing professionals, and they're learning the art of research. And so that mentoring is how we pass the torch to them.
My interest in orthopedic research actually began when I was an undergraduate, in the sense that I was always interested in applications of material science to the medical field. I came to Case Western Reserve University in 1996 because even though my work at the Hospital for Special Surgery was very rewarding and very exciting, I was not in a school of engineering. I had the opportunity to be a faculty member here in the Case School of Engineering. I felt like I died and gone to heaven because it's been a pleasure to be working with Dean Dirk, particularly with our Engineering Strategic Hiring Initiative, working with engineering students and mentoring them, but also doing the work that I really love to do, which is the work related to orthopedics and the design and development of total joint replacements. Big accomplishments or big changes that we've brought about in orthopedics is the formulations of the plastic that's used in total joint replacements. I feel very grateful and proud of the fact that I could make a contribution to the understanding of those designs to improve clinical performance and improve joint replacements. Adele Bosky, even to this day. She is an expert in mineralization and a crystallographer, and she helped me to understand or to mentor me in my career development and leadership development in research. And she also helped me to understand how to combine my love for my research and my career with the work-family balance, and encouraged me to have a family and told me that it was possible to have a family and still have a successful career. So that my daughter Heather graduated from Case Western Reserve a few years ago as an art history and psychology major. She also clearly has an interest in technical activities, much like her mother. She took a course in differential equations just for the fun of it.
Foundation I received at Case, I utilized up to this morning. Everything that I have ever learned or done is based on that basic foundation. But Ray Ride, who was familiar with many people in Washington, Pennsylvania, was asked to visit, and he stopped by and told me that Case was one of the top 5 schools, engineering schools. And I had a friend that was a Beta Theta Pi over with Western Reserve. and he went across to see the Case betas, who invited me to come and stay at their place. And that was on Abington Road, a road which doesn't even exist anymore. He said, well, we're going to have an orientation session. The speaker got up and said, now, you should introduce yourself to the man on your left or to the man on your right. And think of the three of you, one of you won't be here at the end of the semester. Because then we went to physics class, and professor said, by the way, we'll start off, we're going to teach this physics class by using the calculus, which I know many of you have had. I couldn't even spell the word. I had never seen a calculus book. East Washington High School didn't teach calculus. My first job when I left Case was with DuPont. We were making heavy water, which was to be used in the atomic energy program, which is interesting because T. Keith Lennon, who was our president at that point in time, was also serving on the Atomic Energy Commission then. But when I got to the Dana plant to help make or separate the water, every course I took at Case, there was something that I was using there. My wife points out to me that in our first 10 years of marriage, we lived in 15 different homes. And so a lot of it was just rental, going from one house to another. But any time that we would see a moving truck, after that, and even years today, moving trucks make us a little ill in our stomach.
I love the fact that I have an engineering undergraduate degree, and I was an engineer in the auto industry for 4 years and found myself yearning for a broader business perspective. And so I went back to business school and got an MBA, and post-MBA went into brand management, where you really learn how to run a business. I still, to this day, leverage all of the analytical skills, the problem-solving skills, the critical thinking skills that I used as an engineer. So even though it's almost 25 years later after I've graduated, I'm still leveraging all of that every day. Case taught me perseverance. And I think, to be able to get through a very rigorous, intense engineering degree, and that was going to be the launching pad to many other things. So I'm really thankful for the rigor of the Case curriculum, because I think it prepared me well all through the rest of my life. Professor Laparo, who I remember I was sitting in one of his classes, and he was probably on his third chalkboard of equations. And I raised my hand and I said, "This is a sincere question. I'm not trying to be a jerk. This is a sincere question. How will I ever use all of this in my life?" And to his credit, he did not get defensive, and he put the chalk down, and he talked about how many industries and applications there were for the equations that we were learning. The career achievement I'm most proud of isn't related to any specific project. It has more to do with staying in the workforce and staying a business leader post-parenthood. I'm a working mom. I have 2 small children. I have a working spouse, and I have a very intense role as president of a division at a Fortune 200 company. So that makes for a pretty busy, intense life sometimes. And I'm very, very committed to staying in corporate America and making it a more friendly place for working parents.
Honored and proud. The fact that the award was originally started for to recognize the Nobel Prize winners at Case obviously is impressive to me, and I'm humbled to be part of an award like that. You don't really think about way back to your college days until something like this comes along, where you start thinking about specific things. Then you realize, well, those things are so much a part of how I think that they're second nature. When Professor Shanklin said, when I was working with Einstein on this matter, I perked up, and I think the rest of the students probably did too. And I remember thinking, I bet there'd be a lot more students in this class if they knew who this professor really was. Professor Shanklin was very impressed at how Einstein carried no ill will or animosity towards any of his critics, even his harshest personal critics. And Professor Shanklin went on to say that all of the, in his words, big minds that he had ever worked with shared that characteristic. I've traveled and worked all over the world, but that's never left me. It had probably the most immediate effect on my career as a young engineer had to do with Professor Samuel Marin. During World War II, Professor Marin was asked by the United States government to take a pint of synthetic latex rubber that the United States soldiers had captured from the Germans, and to determine from that pint how to build a synthetic rubber industry in the United States. And Professor Marin went over how he did that in class with us, which was fascinating. I went to work out of Case as a chemical engineer for British Petroleum. And believe it or not, one of the first things that I had to work on were a number of serious problems they had in the manufacture of synthetic rubber latex. And I immediately knew all the problems. I knew the answers. Professor Marin had solved these things years ago. And my superiors were super impressed. I remember, I think it was the CEO of the company asking me, Tom, just incredulously, how did you do that? And that got me noticed early, which is important for a career, and had led to me being advanced very quickly. One fun thing I can think back on is I played basketball at Case. We had Coach Sudek. He was a great guy. He remembered everybody. All through the years, he remembered everybody, even me, and I had a very minor role at Case, but shortest guy on the team. So if I had to name one regret, I would say that they didn't have the three-point shot back then. Case is a great institution. Under President Snyder, it's really starting to take off. President Snyder has established two main strategic thrusts for Case, the health sciences and energy. And the Great Lakes Energy Institute is the energy branch of that strategy, and Diane Anderson has done a wonderful job in really from starting it up into what it is today. So my experience at Case has served me well. Very good preparation for a career and for my life.
Well, Barbara Snyder was very instrumental and reached out to the Case Alumni Association, inviting us to attend meetings and discussions to bring the Alumni Association back to campus. Prepared to fulfill our mission, and that was to solely support the School of College of Arts and Sciences and the School of Engineering, their faculty and staff, and the students. And what developed was a really great relationship that Barbara fostered with her leadership discussions. They resulted in a successful offer by the university to move to really a prime spot on campus. We're very pleased to be in Tomlinson Hall. I think President Snyder has set the tone for an open communication between the Case Alumni Association and the Case Western Reserve University administration. We've had free access to many meetings and have been able to provide valuable insight as to the Alumni Association constituents and how they can help the university as a whole.
Good evening. I'm Ken Laparo. I'm a faculty member in the Case School of Engineering at Case Western Reserve University, and also past president of the Case Alumni Association. And I had the pleasure this past year of serving as the chairman of the awards committee for the Case Alumni Association. Since I can't be there with you this evening, I wanted to take this opportunity first to congratulate all the awardees, and most importantly to recognize President Snyder as the recipient of the Silver Bowl Award, the highest award of the Case Alumni Association. Her support, enthusiasm, and friendship was extremely important to achieving the goals that I had for my term as president. In particular, to get the Case Alumni Association back on campus in a home that we felt very comfortable with in Tomlinson Hall, and actually to better integrate both the Case Alumni Association and the Case School of Engineering activities in alumni activities as well as development efforts has been a real opportunity, I think, for both organizations. So again, Barbara, congratulations.